millionaires and billionaires and not be able to run our country for a whole year. We can take all of it. It's the taxes they want to put on the millionaires and billionaires is like a billion some dollars. You know, we spent $1.3 trillion more last year than we brought in. This is all about dividing America for political gain. And we as Americans can't allow for that to happen, to have that happen. The key thing is that we have to stop spending money that we don't have. And that's one of the big struggles that they have in Washington, D.C., is they don't want to stop doing that. I don't know if you all remember, but when the president was running, what he said he was going to do for us is he was going to cut the deficit in half by the end of his first year, or first term. Remember that? He's tripled it almost. I ask a lot of my friends is that, are you better off today than you were $5 trillion ago? This is money our kids and our grandkids are going to have to pay back. You know, and you're going to hear a lot of things of more of demagoguing with no solutions, zero solutions. You'll see it in the Illinois 17th district. You know, just demagogue. You know, one of the things you'll hear a lot is that we're ending Medicare as you know it. You know, nothing could be further from the truth. Well, if you take a look at Medicare, actually ends on its own if we do nothing, and that's what the other side has proposed, is to just let it roll, and that's a problem. What we've got is a plan that takes our 55-year-olds on up, leaves them untouched. It just keeps the exact same plan that they currently have. But then for us 54 and younger, who have been paying into this system all the way through, it saves it for them. And what's nice about it is it brings in competition and lets me pick and choose which company I want to use through Medicare. And the one thing that I like about it, and some don't, is the fact that the people who are well off and don't need as much help aren't going to get it. But the truly needy of our society who really need a little bit extra help are going to get the help they need. So, you know, it's another promise that you're able to make sure that the people that really need it, you know, if you got somebody that has a lot of money and doesn't really need the help, then they're not going to get it, which is something that I think all Americans, when we're in the situation we're in, people understand that we've got to really be careful on how we spend our money and make sure we're doing the right things. One of the things that you know we're going to be dealing with a lot, and I think you'll see more of it come to the forefront as we grow closer to the election, is scandals. Fast and Furious, that's a scandal. When you look at Solyndra, you know, all of this money going to friends who contributed to the election of the folks that are running the country right now. There's another multi-billion-dollar Solyndra that's just coming to the horizon. It'll be out in the news here in the next few months. But there's lots of this going on that we really got to hold people accountable for when it comes time to spend. That's our tax dollar. Another thing, and I'll just kind of finish up with this and just open it up for questions, is that, you know, the thing you've got to remember is that money gives either an individual power or gives the federal government power. The federal government wants more power, so they want more taxes. They want to take more of our money. The farmer, for example, we talked a little bit about how the president wants to bump up the capital gains tax from 15% up to around 40%. You know, I believe that the farmer that sells that piece of ground can do a lot better with that extra 25% in his pocket or her pocket than the federal government. He could go buy, or she can go buy more ground, or they can buy some investments in. The government is going to continue to tax and spend all the way through unless we hold them accountable. And that's why elections matter. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and just maybe welcome. Go ahead and open it up to some questions.
I don't know if we touched on this last night or not, and you might have answered the question, and I don't remember. But what's your fix for this $4, $5 gas? That's killing whatever recovery is going on.
Well, and that's why I believe the president will not be reelected, because what he's done is he's catered to the environmentalists, is what he's done. They have made it illegal to get a permit for natural gas, of which we have an abundance in the United States. You know, one of the things they really are really good at not being fully truthful. For example, like they say, drilling is up; it's the highest it's ever been. Well, they're talking about private land, little pieces, but it's actually down in public lands, and that's where the big chunk of our oil is at. But the president could come out tomorrow and say, look, we're going to run the Keystone Pipeline. We're going to start tapping into our domestic energy. We're going to put all options on the table, nuclear, you know, everything across the board, make it legal to access natural gas. And I think the next day you'd see the price of oil plummet. There's a lot of things that are causing it, because you also have your speculators that are coming in. I mean, it's like a guaranteed good return on your dollar, because the president continues to cut every step of the way and block. We had 3 bills: HR 1229, HR 1230, and HR 1231. Like right now in Louisiana, there's people that are losing their homes, and families are being divided because they still have the moratoriums on out there. That's a problem. You know, when they talk about big oil, you know, we don't really have big oil here in the United States, because most of these companies have left. They're gone. You know, and there's a reason, because of the hostile environment. But I think the biggest thing is to make it legal to where we can access our own resources. But then at the same time, once we do that, continue to move towards green energy, you know, and find things that have a proven track record that work. And you know, in America, we're awesome about figuring, you know, you find something out that might work okay, but then we continue to improve upon it to where it's something that's really, really good down the road. So I think the big thing is for him to say we're going to put all options on the table, and then actually put all options on the table. The Keystone Pipeline. Remember when he went down and he was showing off and look what I did? He had nothing to do with that. And what he's done is he's blocked Canada, you know, for bringing in the big pipeline part. You look at Iran. You know, that's another reason why the gas prices keep going up. You know, they're talking about blocking oil off to make sure.
There's not a single gallon of oil that has been delayed. There's not a single gallon that's pumped that's not flowing the same way as it was before the Iran thing. All the gallons are still going wherever they were going before. And there was an article that I read that said if we used all of the gasoline that we refine, gas would be between $2.50 and $2.75, but the surplus is being sold back to Japan and China.
We're exporting, right? Right.
The gas.
Right.
I mean, it's just crazy. It's just greed. I don't understand it.
WBBM made a comment this afternoon on a news segment that we're at one of the all-time highs of surplus of petroleum right now in the United States as we've been in the past 25 years. And there's a glutton in gasoline right now. And that was made on WBBM, that announcement. And they're not, you know, the prices are.
I mean, I don't understand how that can be allowed.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a global market,
right?
And so they're selling it all the way across. And here's the thing.
About the money. Right?
Well, I mean, it's supply and demand. Here's the thing. They say that it's not about supply. If it's not about supply, and if they were being honest on some of the stuff that not all the stuff that we hear and read is facts, but if it wasn't about supply, then why is the president talking about tapping into our strategic oil reserves? That's a case in a point. I mean, because if it was about supply and we have this abundance, then why would we even be considering that? But the big thing is it's a global supply now because everything's going everywhere. But when you cut off everything that they've cut off, it doesn't help the global supply. And then you have Iran, and then you have the speculators coming in. Whereas if he were to do all of the above, you know, those speculators, the price of a barrel of oil would drop, and those people would get burnt. And now you have, you know, amateur investors coming in and speculating because it's like a guaranteed good deal for them.
I get calls every week.
Yeah, but that's why you've got to get the speculation out. I mean, depending on who you talk to, they say it could account for, you know, $1 a gallon on gas. You know.
I have a question. Well, it seems like everybody is missing the point. You're missing the point. Democrats are missing the point. It's the valuation of the currency is why oil is so high.
Right.
It's the dollar versus gold. You just convert that back, and you could say, and you could probably drill more oil, and you could probably lower the price of oil, a huge supply of it. But that's only a short-term fix. You keep printing more money and diluting something down,